against goodness and normalcy. P-A-G-A-N. Pagan. Nice work.
Woke. I hunted, Rob. I hunted for Tobey Maguire's dick.
It looks like Chuck's taking the skin boat to Tuna Town.
You look goofy.
Give me the meat and give it to me raw.
5 minutes later.
Do you wanna take a life? Do you wanna cross that line? Because it's a long way back from hell.
The American Society of Magical Negroes.
I learned a long time ago that there's no sense getting all riled up every time a bunch of idiots give you a hard time. In the end, the universe tends to unfold as it should. Plus, I have a really large penis. That keeps me happy.
My mind is a raging torrent, flooded with rivulets of thought, cascading into a waterfall of creative alternatives.
God darn it, Mr. Lamar. You use your tongue prettier than a $20 whore.
Let's go. Oh, that was a bad start. Sorry to DSP you there, everybody. What's up? Welcome to the formerly canceled, uncanceled, late, and just late Nerdrotic Nooner for Monday. I figured I'm just going to sit around doing nothing today anyway, and I was bored. And I'm like, we can do this. I have a little bit of the con cred, but I'm on the mend. I feel much better than I did this morning. So let's go. Somebody said good morning. I guess it's good morning on the West Coast, my former home. So what's up, everybody? Yeah. Some member of the fellowship gave me con cred. I forgive you. I usually avoid it. But my wife didn't get it. That bitch. She's fine. She's completely, I know, walk it off. Put some Robitussin on it. It'll be fine. Ex-con crud. Funny. Okay. So actually lots to talk about today. We're going to get to the square up, but we are also going to discuss Andy Weir nuking Star Trek and then apologizing, which I knew was coming. Absolutely was coming. We'll get into that, though. And what else do we have? Oh, the death of Hollywood franchises. I kind of went over this a little bit in the supercut. It probably requires a much more in-depth video. Maybe that's my next one. Who knows? About 3 foundational franchises that are just dead. And it has been something we have been warning about for years, and we are now in the apathy phase. But more important, there's something else to talk about, which is skipping generations. So it is a generational disaster because they've lost, well, some of them have lost 2, but losing 1 is enough, and people will move on. Hollywood will move on, and these things will go by the way of The Shadow, Buck Rogers, Flash Gordon, and be memories. We like the idea of these things, but we're really not into them anymore. Now, what's different from The Shadow, Flash Gordon, and Buck Rogers is these things could have lasted a little bit longer if Hollywood hadn't taken the route they did. The core of the problem is writing, but it's what motivates the writing, which is the real problem. And it's not like we haven't tried to warn you for years. And here we are. Larry Fink, I can't remember. Somebody brought up Larry Fink in the chat. BlackRock Larry Fink, who years ago said that basically we are going to teach you how to think, to paraphrase what he said. He seems to be a little regretful for saying that. But it's only because it was a massive failure. It wasn't, I deeply regret saying that because it's wrong. It is coercion. And yeah. We also, we'll talk a little bit. We've kind of did it on Friday. Jack Posobiec's take on Lord of the Rings. It's just, I'll just say this. I don't do live streams on geopolitics. I would be a complete retard. I pay attention. I know what's going on. I'm not sure it will be that well informed though, because I don't care enough. Oh, you should care. It's a war. What? No, I don't. I care what happens in this country. That's all I care about. That's all I've ever cared about. So it wouldn't be that informed. So you know what I do? I don't talk about it. But it just exemplifies why the right loses so much, because they've never respected culture. They've never respected pop culture. Now some have and have figured it out, and good for them. And I think even if you listen to Matt Walsh, he'll at least understand the importance of pop culture, not making his takes good, but it would certainly be better than, and like, listen, I don't know if he's trolling half the time, but when he says like anime is demonic, it's the same thing. It's the same thing as people saying Harry Potter was demonic, right? It's the same thing. But like coming out and saying that, just having a fundamental misunderstanding, I would just keep my mouth shut, especially if I was like, I won't say lifelong, but a huge Game of Thrones fan, which I am too, which is a complete subversion of Tolkien's work, which is a mythology for England. So it's going to have some aspects of mythology. And if you come from the point of view that any mythology or even talking about it is some kind of heresy or something like that, I would say Tolkien was a pretty devout Catholic and felt very comfortable talking about mythology because it's a story. Now my views on mythology are probably really different than Tolkien. I love it just as much as he does, but I think there's a lot of truth behind the mythology. But we'll save that for Forbidden Frontier. What's up, Blue-Eyed Scorpio? We'll save that for Forbidden Frontier. Let's see who's here. Core member. What's up, brother? Psychotic Mongoose. Eric K. the Mod. Joseph Terrell. Anzela 517. MB Quoas. What's the 4 supposed to be an A? I'm not sure. Obard. Kevin Apple. Bass Animation or Bass Animation. There's 2 ways to look at that. I'm going to say bass because I play bass, but you could be a fisherman, and it could be bass. I don't know. Nashville Guitarist. What's up? Dr. Schlurpo. Thumbs up 1981. RMD 0922. That Cap'n Geach or Geek with a CH. Not really sure. Who did you say hello to, Eric? Hang on. it just the Fum Ducker. it just came across the chat. I'm like, it sounds like Gary's got the jades. I've got AIDS of the imagination after watching Starfleet Academy for 10 weeks. What's up, Noons? Yeah, this will be a fun stream. I'm not really that sick. A little lightheaded. It's fine. I'm sure I won't say anything stupid like Tolkien is pagan. Man, I wish you would have said that before I did my Lord of the Rings video, but oh well. Oh well. Where's that clip again? First thing I thought of.
People against goodness and normalcy. Pagan. Pagan. Nice work.
We just like to dance in our goatskin pants around this ancient ruin. Dragnet. Everybody knew that song. They played it on MTV all the time. Love Dragnet. You know, it came out in 4K. It's being sent to me. Speed Racer. But the Wachowskis are now doing a promotion of it. And it's just, I was laughing through the whole thing. When they're talking about, you know, how influential Speed Racer was when they were kids. And they're all, we were normal kids. Oh boy. Oh boy. Maybe we'll look at that if I can find it on Twitter. Project Hail Mary's killing it at the box office. It's got great word of mouth. And it, you know, hopefully it holds on. It's got to make north of 600 million to break even. Not too dissimilar to Superman, except the budget for Project Hail Mary was smaller than Superman. But it has to make over 600 million. But it is certainly the feel-good movie of the year. And as I said on Friday Night Tights, it is a complete rejection of the nihilism and postmodernism of science fiction. Everything's apocalyptic, and Ryan Gosling is saying the same thing. That's the reason he took the part and the job and got it made, was because it was something hopeful and fun. And it certainly has dark themes behind it, but it's a fun, thrilling, hopeful adventure. Can't wait to see it again. I got freaking con crud, so I couldn't. So Steph got my ticket instead. But I'll see it again in IMAX, and I can't wait. Can't wait for the 4K. This is why I do this. We find movies like this. I get happy. I buy the 4K. I watch them again. That's why I do this. This is what I keep looking for. Hollywood will learn no lesson from this. Zero. Where is the article? Where'd it go? There's the apology. Oh, we got a Supergirl teaser. I guess we'll watch that. Oh, there's. I'll do the ad at the middle of the show. X-Ray Girl. Where did it go? Where did it go? There it is. So we'll start with no, that's not the article. Oh, Jesus Christ. Hang on. There it is. There's a couple of reasons I want to mention this article because it's freaking hilarious. So this is from the Hollywood Reporter, and it is from day before yesterday. Day before yesterday. Now, as you guys know or may not know, and if you don't know, go over to oh my God, my brain is farting right now. After Hours, and go see Drinker's review interview with Andy Weir. It's great. It's great. So it's made the rounds. And from the Hollywood Reporter, we hear that Project Hail Mary author Andy Weir says Paramount rejected his Star Trek pitch. Their shows are shit. No lies detected. I wouldn't be surprised at all if when the dust settles, if David Ellison has half a brain, which I think he does, he goes right back to Andy Weir and goes, "Do you think I can hear that Star Trek pitch again?" And I think they would be smart to do that. Now, they would need a showrunner. I don't think it should be a movie. I think it should be a TV show. We've talked about that. Star Trek is not necessarily a cinematic franchise. I know the movies in the 80s were part of the tapestry of the 80s, but it was because you brought back a series that should have never been canceled in the first place, a fandom that kept it alive for years. You know, kind of like if they would have gone back to Firefly within 10 years, right? If they'd have gone back to Firefly within 10 years, it would have had a lot more energy behind it, and maybe it would have had something. But for those of you who weren't alive, Star Trek, Star Trek's ratings were great in the 60s, even for the shitty third season of the original series. And it was canceled for a lot of reasons, but it wasn't for lack of people watching. And that proved that beyond the shadow of a doubt when it was the most watched show in syndication. And it was only a matter of time until the movies were made. They were thinking about bringing it back to TV, and then they brought it back to the theaters. And I remember watching the motion picture when I was, 8 or 9. And it's the first time in a theater I experienced people applauding when a character came on the screen. So when I vividly remember when McCoy shows up, people cheering, and Spock showing up and people cheering. And, I didn't even fully understand Star Trek back then. It was just a space adventure with aliens that I liked, the coolest looking ship ever. So can we get back to that? I don't know, but back to Andy Weir, the author of the blockbuster film, says Paramount turned down his Star Trek idea and suggests that modern Star Trek shows have lost their way. Suggested that. He says they're shit. They're shit. They're absolute shit. There's lots of data out there that these are not successful shows. And then there's the anecdotal that we can talk about. The author of Project Hail Mary is firing a photon torpedo at Paramount Star Trek efforts. Best-selling writer Andy Weir criticized modern Trek shows while on the Critical Drinker podcast. So I do want to point out, although they fuck up later, still, for the first time, guys, for the first time ever, the The critical drinker is named in a major trade. The number one critic in the world, noted chud. Most influential critic in the world. You don't have to ask me, just ask people within Hollywood. And it's not even questionable at this point. It's the first time they were forced to mention them. Now they fuck up later or purposefully fuck up, whatever. It doesn't matter. It's like the Daily Prophet named Voldemort. Last week, and even revealed he pitched a Trek show that was shot down by Paramount. So now we know Trek was pitched by Seth MacFarlane. They got rid of Brian Fuller. Roger Avery offered to work there. Andy Weir, all shot down to keep Alex Kurtzman. So if you ever think, in Hollywood, the cream rises to the top. The best of the best are there. This is supposed to be the pinnacle of art and cinema and commoditizing it. And these people know what they're doing. That's why they make those millions of dollars, because they are better than all of us at figuring this stuff out. It's just not true. It's just not true. The topic began with the podcast host, Will Jordan, having to actually say his name, saying how refreshing the box office hit Project Hail Mary has been, especially for the audiences who grew up on Star Trek and now suffer from a lack of such sci-fi efforts nowadays. I saw, I forgot who it was. I wish I could remember who it was. Some analysts, he said something like all modern science fiction TV shows and movies have been heavily influenced by original Star Trek, except for the current batch of Star Trek shows. Jordan replied, yes. And then they both laughed. At first, Weir left that comment open to interpretation, but then added, I'm a Gen X, so my sci-fi was original Star Trek reruns and Lost in Space reruns. And there wasn't really much in the way of new sci-fi that was airing, where people are off in space doing cool things until we got Star Trek The Next Generation. I mean, you could add in, like, for me anyway, Doctor Who, but that was on PBS and not everybody got to see it. Later, Jordan brought up the divisive Starfleet Academy, which Paramount Plus recently confirmed will end after its already shot second season. I think we could probably safely never talk about that again, Jordan quipped. It's gone, baby, Weir cheerfully agreed. It's all gone. It's all gone, by the way. Jordan said his advice to Paramount is to decanonize everything Trek from Enterprise onward. I'd say after Enterprise. That's probably what he meant. After Enterprise. As much as I'd be fine with Star Trek Picard season 3 remaining canon, if we have to lose that to just put everything in the Kelvin timeline, absolutely. That's the only way you're going to fix it. The problem is, and we'll get this to later, we'll get to this later, is willingness. It's all a matter of willingness and desire. Okay, you're a little more severe than I am, Weir said. I'll give you my opinion. I'm just a customer. I like Strange New Worlds. I think it's pretty good. I didn't hate Enterprise. I thought it was kind of weird. Lower Decks, I thought was entertaining and fun. All the others, they can go. And Strange New Worlds is it's terrible, Mr. Weir. It's shit. I will give you this. Akiva Goldsman is a better writer than Alex Kurtzman, but he's a better, shittier writer than Alex Kurtzman. And I do think Akiva Goldsman tries. I think he tries. I just don't think he's good enough. Because I watched Akiva Goldsman's Picard season 1 and 2. And everything's just a ripoff. We've already gotten a musical episode, which was a ripoff of Buffy. Now we're going to get a puppet episode, which is a ripoff of Angel. And they're trying to make Star Trek Buffy. And they need to stop. I pitched a Star Trek show to Paramount, and I was in a Zoom with the showrunners with all the shows and spent a lot of time talking with executive producer Alex Kurtzman. I don't like a lot of the new Trek. He, as a person, is a really nice guy. But at the same time, those shows are shit. He's been a nice guy, but they didn't accept my pitch. So, fuck him. I love it. And listen, that's how they all feel behind the scenes. Fuck all that shit you see publicly. These are Hollywood, to a man and woman, the most backstabbing, cutthroat industry on the planet, maybe just behind comic books. And no, I think the first one is stand-up comedians, comic books, Hollywood, most cutthroat places. And that's above cartels, by the way. So comedians, stand-up comedians, comic book professionals, Hollywood, and then cartels. Crime 101 author Don Winslow hit back on Weir, writing, "Congrats on the success of Project Hail Mary and The Martian. I'm a real fan, but when you have your moment to use it to crap on other writers' work, for record, Alex Kurtzman is a visionary writer, creator, producer, and you owe him an apology." Don Winslow, your movie flopped, by the way, and Alex Kurtzman vision comes out of his sphincter. And Weir gives him an apology. He didn't owe him shit. Listen, we need to bring shame back to Hollywood. We need to bring shame back. It is shame that leads to change. It is shame that leads to change. It is shameful to be homeless drug addict. I felt very shameful. I should have. It led me to change. If I wrote a TV show and I was paid millions of dollars and the premiere episode was beaten by a Spock action figure on YouTube in concurrent viewers, I'd be embarrassed. I'd be embarrassed that the Critical Drinkers, 3 or 4 videos on Star Trek, garnered more views than the entire season of Star Trek. I'd be fucking embarrassed. I don't know. What's a bottle of, what's drink or drink? Jack Daniels? What's a bottle of Jack Daniels go for? Let's just say he drinks a bottle per video. It's not much. But his first review and my 2 first reviews quadrupled. No, I don't even know the term for it. His got orders of magnitude more than the Starfleet Academy premiere that was free on YouTube. And mine quadrupled the viewership on 2 videos, not put together separately. I'd be fucking embarrassed, and you should be. Paramount should be embarrassed. They've let this go for so long. They have taken their crown jewel of Star Trek, one of the greatest American IPs and stories ever fucking told, and pretty much killed it dead, murdered by death. But to borrow a term from Cecil, it committed Mary suicide. It committed Mary suicide. And then, after all that, they're like, hey, let's make it super gay. That'll have the broadest appeal. And the only reason this wasn't canceled after 1 season, because Alex Kurtzman was smart enough to fool the dipshits who ran Paramount into 2-season orders, which was, pretty normal across the board during the streaming wars. So this show got picked up in 23? So technically they were still around. So I get it. But there's a reason Hollywood has rediscovered the pilot season, and it's for shows like Starfleet Academy, which were a net loss for their streamer. A net loss. I could promise you, Starfleet Academy didn't bring in a single fucking subscriber to Paramount Plus. And it's not even worth, I'm not joking about this. It's not worth the driver space, which is costly. Now, YouTubers, on the other hand, probably did pretty well in the videos, I'm going to say. Maybe Mrs. Nerdrotic got a new pair of shoes, you know. Just saying. Let's go to Andy Weir's Facebook. Listen, Andy, you know, because you talked to one of my friends, we're like this close. Andy, buddy, I understand why you apologize. Like I do. I don't think you needed to at all. You're the king right now. But I understand why you did. You got to play in that playground, and this could be associated with he's aligning with the chuds, and this is where Hollywood is stupid. They'll see that, they'll not work with him, and then they won't get more successful stuff, and then they'll wonder why they suck, instead of going, you know, Alex Kurtzman does suck. He ruined Star Trek for a decade. The dude just sucks. Might be the nicest guy in the world. I don't really care. I have heard otherwise about being the nicest guy in the world, by the way. I have heard the exact opposite. I've heard he's an opportunist and a backstabbing mofo. But I get why Andy did this. And the show's doing great. The movie's doing great. This will not affect the movie at all. As a matter of fact, I think it'll raise his stock a little bit. The apology was not necessary, but I completely understand why he did it. So he's all open letter to Alex Kurtzman. Hey, Alex, Andy Weir, I'm posting to apologize about stuff I said on the Critical Drinkers podcast. I feel like my quotes were taken out of context as salacious sound bites. I hope you saw the other parts where I said how much I like you in person as a nice guy, which they put. I think they hang on. Didn't they call him Matthew Marsden at some point in the Hollywood Reporter? We're going to stay on this. Oh, they fixed it. Okay. So at one point, they edited and fixed it. At one point, they called Will Jordan Matthew Marsden. Which is funny. All the fucking millions of dollars that go into the Hollywood Reporter and how much they pay their hack fucking writers. And they make as many mistakes as I would. And I am a retard. So it's fucking hilarious. I was trying to be funny, but in retrospective, it comes off as disrespectful and mean. So I'm sorry. I was also trying to be self-deprecating, but they don't like my pitch. So fuck them. But out of context, that really I'm a blunt person, always have been. And it's been 10 years since the media cared what I had to say or anything about it. I will be back in my cave writing novels and no one will care again. Anyway, if you want to talk about it in real time, if you want to rip me a new one, I'm happy to hop on a Zoom call with you. That's, you know what? That's manly behavior. I'm going to just say that's manly behavior. He didn't need to apologize though. But the end where he's like, you want to talk about it? Let's talk about it. Andy, buddy, you're a really good writer. I've read The Martian and I've read Project Hail Mary, and I'm gonna probably listen to that book a lot. Ray Porter does a great job reading it, by the way. And it's the story we need right now, and it's the story that Star Trek could have been. If Alex Kurtzman could swallow his pride, which he never could, to bring in people that were better than him. But his idea for Star Trek was to not make it Star Trek from the get-go. It's to make it Star Wars, to make it Marvel, and it never found an identity. So as I've said before, Hollywood's obsession over identity has led them to lose their identity. Hollywood has no identity right now. They're in an identity crisis. Because things that were absolutely working without question don't work anymore. And the reason they don't work is because they've lost a generation. They've alienated half the country. They elevated writers who don't have the talent to do so. They are casting writers, casting producers, casting directors instead of hiring them based on meritocracy. We just saw that with Black Snape, one of the worst casting of the century, and people are tired of it. And there's so much more entertainment out there. Hollywood competes against itself. So now we've had more access than ever to the full library of Hollywood, to the point where people spend a half an hour looking on the menu of Netflix and not even picking anything. Now they have, they can see any movie they like. It's hard to explain, but back in the 80s, the fact that I could have seen any movie I wanted whenever would have been the greatest thing ever. I probably would have gotten tired of it. But it's the same thing that happened. It's the same thing that happens when any medium goes digital. It makes it disposable. So the problem is now you compete against yourself. Now the audience is literally your competition now. Somebody could fire up a camera, go on TikTok, go on Instagram, go on YouTube, Twitch for some reason. No normal people go on Twitch, Kick, Rumble, whatever, and hang out with their friends and entertain themselves. And as I've said often, my go-to is probably a stream. Unless there's a banger show out, the first thing I do is I'll just fire up a stream to put on in the background and do whatever I'm doing. So there's that. But if you want to nail it to one thing that the media will never talk about, it's the alienating the audience. Because there's this assumption out there, only the right-wing chuds hate Starfleet Academy. Well, I'll give you one example. Robert Meyer Burnett. He might hate it more than I do. And I'll give you some other examples. The Critical Drinker, who is not American. So he's not exactly a Republican because he's not American. Everyone hated Starfleet Academy. Oh, and then there's me. It's not like I'm a card-carrying Republican, because I'm not. But yeah, he didn't need to apologize. I'm not surprised that he did, especially when Don Winslow, the author of the book Who was adapted, and it flopped. I'm sure that had nothing to do with it. Listen, there are catty bitches, and they talk shit about, I just put up a Twitter post about this. They talk shit about each other all the fucking time. There are people, I've talked to people, there are people who have clowned Kurtzman. A lot of people who have clowned Kurtzman behind his back, including people who fucking worked for him. Okay. It's Hollywood, baby. That's how it is. We need to bring shame back. It's how people get better. But people were fucking kissing Kurtzman's ass this whole 10 years. And maybe he thought he was making something visionary and groundbreaking. Are you high, Don Winslow? He doesn't really believe that. He does not really believe that. So this is Hollywood opportunism 101. Don Winslow has a flop, wants to direct that energy at somebody he's a little angry at. He sees Peter Weir out there, and he can direct some of his energy about his movie flopping. And he doesn't give a shit. He doesn't give a shit about Alex Kurtzman. None of them do. Talking about a town that would fucking sell their firstborn to get a script. Let me tell you a story about how fucking evil Andy Weir. Did I say Peter? Why did I say Peter Weir? I'm sick. Andy Weir. Peter Weir, director. So here's a true story. I used to work in Hollywood. All right. It was during 2008. The comic shop was barely breaking even for a couple years, so I needed to find another job. And I decided to work in Hollywood. I took a class, like refined my editing skills, and eventually it led to, and it's not based on any of the class I went to, it was I knew somebody. I eventually worked for Technicolor. So what I did was I worked down in Burbank 4 days a week. It was 4 days and 3 days. So I'd do 12-hour shifts. That kind of went back and forth between 4 days and 3 days a week. And then I'd go home to San Francisco. So I had to rent a room. Like I was a college student. And it was a room with like a futon, a box of comics, and my laptop. That was it. It was just there for a place to sleep because I worked the night shift from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. at Technicolor as a pre-mastering technician, a job that I'm sure AI is taking right now and could easily. So the first place I went to and eventually moved out was this woman, black woman, who rented out the room. And she was getting this is a true story, by the way. So this is why I left. She had petitioned to get a foster kid to fund her movie, to take the money for the foster kid to pay for her movie. And sure, give a little bit to the foster kid, but most of that money was going to go towards her magnum opus movie. That's fucking Hollywood. That's fucking Hollywood. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Now, whether she got the foster kid or not, no idea. I was gone. I was fucked. But that shit happens in Hollywood all the time. That's Hollywood, baby. So like this all like it's professional. Fuck that. Talk shit. I love it when CEOs talk shit about each other. I think it's great. Shows that they're human. Shows that they're human. Okay. We did get here, let's take a look at the Supergirl trailer real quick. Where did that go? There it is. This is a teaser for the trailer. I just want you to notice what's missing from it. I mean, aside from a superhero story. We'll watch the full trailer tomorrow on Real BBC. I'll have to cut this out because Warner Brothers sucks balls.
Hey, it's me, Clark. You know, I'm just worried because, well, you know, we
Are those bottles of alcohol? Because she's so messy.
miss you. I was just touching base to see when you think you might be coming back.
Okay, I want to go back. His lazy eye is there again. You see it? He's got that lazy eye. Here. You see it? Yep. The lazy eye is back. Okay. You notice what they didn't do? They didn't have the dog pissing on the newspaper. That's gone. I wonder if it has something to do with the test screenings. I think Dante said something about there being 8. I know for a fact there was at least 3. I wouldn't be surprised if there was 8, though.
Well, we miss you. I was just touching base to see when you think you might be coming back.
Oh, look, it's not. Oh, it's a. Look at that. It's not a Walkman this time. It's an iPod with pop music. And we're going to have an irreverent story in space with an eclectic cast of characters who are going to find the deeper meaning of found family. It'll be so original. Supposedly the budget's $100 million for this. Kind of like it was $200 million before Superman, because they know what the tracking is by now, so they're getting out ahead of the problem. And we'll see. Everything rides on Man of Tomorrow. I agree with Robert Meyer Burnett. I think they change it to Superman Man of Tomorrow. Even though it's not a Superman movie, it is an ensemble movie. It's an ensemble movie that'll probably be irreverent with some pop music, and everybody learns the value of found family and chosen family. But it's a space adventure, just like Guardians of the Galaxy. Just like Guardians of the Galaxy. I have to blow my nose. Hang on. You have to be careful when you have a beard. I'm just saying. Don't want any boogers hanging off your mustache. All right. So this brings us to the death of franchises. So I talked about this and I might make a bigger video on this because there's actually a lot of minutia, but let's just stick with Doctor Who, Star Trek, and Star Wars, which have all gotten their fatal blows within the last just under 2 years, with the Acolyte, Doctor Who Series 15, and now Starfleet Academy. Franchises that could have lasted forever if anybody had taken just basic care with them and if the right people were hired. But in the case of Star Wars, we've gone over it quite a bit, but bringing in Kathleen Kennedy at the time, I'm like, sounds like a great idea. But upon further review, it's like, but she has no connection to Star Wars whatsoever. And who can replace George Lucas? Nobody could. But thought it was a good idea. Thought Disney taking over was a great idea. And it turned out not to be a great idea. It turned out to be a complete disaster. And they will roll out and say, yes, it was profitable. And they made a lot of money off of merchandise and the movies in early days. Look at the state it's in now. Look what Kathleen Kennedy's gone now. She's actually gone. I know it's hard to believe, but she's gone. And we have Mandalorian and Grogu coming up. So an episode of The Mandalorian is your big cinematic return of a cinematic franchise that was the mightiest of them all. It's Mandalorian and Grogu. And I'm already getting vibes of Attack of the Clones, the Clone Wars, the first Clone Wars animated movie that led to the series, which was terrible. Getting the same vibes from this one. Now, Starfighter, I think, has more potential. But the problem you have with Doctor Who, Star Trek, Star Wars, we can lump in Lord of the Rings with this. You can even lump in Game of Thrones, is how do you move forward? How do you move forward with this? You could do a continuation. So you'd be continuing on Ncuti Gatwa and Jodie Whittaker's Doctor Who. You'd be continuing on Alex Kurtzman's Star Trek and continuing on Kathleen Kennedy's Star Wars. You'd also be, there's two continuations you can do. You could continue on Rings of Power, which is just adapting the appendices, or you can keep doing side stories all day long until you've, filled in all the blanks for Lord of the Rings. But nothing is moving these forward story-wise. Nothing that you can do. There is Reboot, which arguably your best option. But it'd probably be your best option for Star Trek if you moved everything into the Kelvin timeline. Well, that would be a continue. So if you continue Star Trek from Enterprise, that's fine. We'll get to that. But Reboot, if they just do full Reboot, the problem is you can't do it with Star Trek because you just did a reboot in 2009. Doctor Who, I think it's very likely they do a reboot. I think that's probably the most likely. I don't know when, but do a reboot. As a Doctor Who fan, wouldn't be interested in that at all, because a reboot of any of those franchises, I think, leads to the same problems we have now. They modernize it, and because Hollywood will never leer, ever leer. Or I think with IGN already mentioned this today, and I absolutely believe this is what Warner Brothers and Paramount are moving towards: a full remake of Lord of the Rings. I think Disney Star Wars will eventually do a full remake of the prequels and the original trilogy. I think those are the only things they have left in their pocket that will, not in a entirely positive way, but it would generate news and it would get people in the theater. But just an offshoot continuation of a Star Wars or a Star Trek movie, or even bringing in a 16th Doctor, it's not going to bring the old fans back. Once they're burned, they're burned. And there's been a lot of cases where, all right, we right the ship, we make something good, but it's too late. It's much too late. Now, this is where we get to willingness. If somebody takes over Star Wars and says, all right, we're wiping the slate clean, we're starting from Return of the Jedi, do something bold like, oh, the extended universe is canon. It's back to being canon. And we decanonize everything Disney Star Wars. And you know what? You have a chance to move forward. But you're never going to reach the heights that you did. And that you're never going to reach the heights that Disney expected and initially got with Force Awakens. There's never going to be that much energy behind it ever again, because even if you wipe it out of continuity, everybody still saw it. So the same can be said for Star Trek. Put everything in the Kelvin, and we're gonna just put everybody on a ship, put everybody on the Enterprise after the events of Voyager, sometime after, and go to some quadrant on. It's really basic. Just put a crew on a ship exploring. I think that would work as a TV series, but it would take a lot of work to bring a lot of the older fans back, which you need to shepherd new fans. The other problem with Star Wars and Star Trek is they're skipping generations, and kids just don't give a shit. They just don't care anymore. I think Doctor Who's just dead. They can bring back a straight white doctor and a hot companion next year, and I think people are just kind of done. Once the damage is done, it's done, and you have to work really hard to get the fans back that you alienated. BBC, Disney, Paramount, and I know there's new management at Paramount, but I've seen zero signs of change yet. Oh, they're going to cancel Starfleet Academy. Why haven't you announced Kurtzman being fired yet? Because it sounds like it is. With all the videos we've seen from the cast of Starfleet Academy, to a man and woman and they, them, they're saying that Star Trek is done. If you read between the lines on that one. But so the whole point is, let's just say they right the ship on all three. Like they figure out a way in 5 or 6 years to right the ship. That's 5 or 6 years. So these are Gen X things. We're getting fucking old. And in that 5 or 6 years, people are just going to pick up on new stuff. And they're already starting to do that. And don't even get me started on Marvel and DC right now. So I think it's just time to make something new, and that's why I'm pretty happy about Project Hail Mary. Yes, they're adapting a book, but adapt new books, and I love this shit. But I think it's well past time to let it lie. Oh my God, but what about Marvel and DC, you ask? Well, I think this is it for DC. I think it's it for Marvel. I think we've said it before. There'll always be Batman and Spider-Man movies. Those will always be around. But as far as shared universes, well, I mean, DC didn't get out to a very good start, did they? Putting it in context, their start wasn't nearly as good as Snyder's start. Just wasn't. I don't think they're willing to let stuff lie for a while, which is what you need to do. And Marvel's not going to do what needs to be. Marvel needs to do a full-on reboot. And then I would say, if they're asking me, which they're not, approach each character like a Bond movie. I wouldn't even connect them right away. I would just make solo movies. And if you got to recast somebody, you recast somebody after 3 or 4. Treat it like a Bond movie. That's originally what Sony was going to do with Spider-Man. But we'll see. But all these franchises are coming to their bitter end. We're in the apathy phase now, which is the death of a franchise. So, and how do we know we're in apathy? Well, you get something good, or you get something that's not as bad and it doesn't perform. Hey, there's a lot of people who say Superman is a great movie. Didn't perform like one. The end of Oak Street looked interesting. Maybe the Jar Jar Abrams produced movie. Looks like more Cloverfield to me. Marvel died in 2015. You might not be wrong. He's wrong. Star Trek in the past has found younger fans, and so has Doctor Who. Doctor Who actually did a great job of it back 10 years ago. Doctor Who and Russell T. Davies' first run did get a new generation of fans that they alienated almost immediately and lost them. So is it possible? Sure. The question is there the talent in Hollywood to bring them back? Because Starfleet Academy was supposed to connect to younger fans. Did it do that? No, it didn't. It didn't connect to any fans. Doctor Who with Jodie and Shudigawa was supposed to connect to younger fans, and it didn't do that. These are also expensive series. And these are also series that really lived off their licenses and their merchandising, which has cratered because they decided to write horrible stories about horrible characters that were foundationally immersed in the message. So you didn't just write like a bad movie. You wrote a bad movie, especially Russell T. Davies specifically came back to throw up a middle finger to the fandom. You don't just recover from that. That's why currently Russell T. Davies' Doctor Who was canceled at Disney. They have a Christmas special coming up, but they don't have a doctor yet, and they better hurry up and film it. Starfleet Academy is canceled after season 2, and it looks like Kurtzman Trek is done. Kathleen Kennedy is gone. They have no vision. They're coming up on the 50th anniversary of Star Wars, and they've got nothing for it. How's that Rey movie doing? So yeah, it's possible, but it requires willingness that Hollywood generally doesn't have, because they care more about what their peers think than what the paying customer thinks and making money. Otherwise, they would have changed years ago. But this went on for 10 fucking years, all this shit. Yeah, I think for Doctor Who, I think Tennant will be the one coming back. It'll be the 14th Doctor, the middle gay Doctor, because the last 3 Doctors were gay. Their best shot at success is, for all 3, is continuation with a major retcon, wiping out the last 10 years of all 3 and moving on from the last decent point. We won't even say good point, decent point. They will never, Hollywood, BBC will never, ever do that, ever. Tom Baker is the GOAT. Tom Baker is the GOAT. And we'll see what happens to DC. Middle gay is so British sounding. It's the middle gay Doctor. The one who was simping over Indian Isaac Newton. Oh, they're going to recast Han, Luke, and Leia for a remake. I think the theory is they're waiting for George to pass, but I don't think they can wait that long. Pertwee and Baker, I love Pertwee. The 3rd Doctor's awesome. I have seen. Have I seen the One Piece anime? I've seen East Blue. I got a Blu-ray of that. I've seen that. Give me just a mo. All right. I'm fixing my skin suit. That's it. No, I didn't pass out. I need to get some liquid, man. All right, let's get to the square up portion of this. Probably should have had this up already. McGann is underrated. I wish they would have done more with Paul McGann. I wish there was a rumor that he was going to come back for the Christmas special, but I don't want any. Russell T Davies is proof. You know, you can't go home again. We've talked about it a lot. He came back, and his entire motivation was not to create fun and exciting stories to bring people together. That he came back with hate on his mind and divisiveness. Hate and divisiveness. But so far, this year, you know, we've gotten A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, One Piece Season 2, which I loved, and Project Hail Mary. So we've gotten some good stuff to wash away the bad taste of Starfleet Academy. I know there's a petition out there to get it back. It's like, it ain't coming back, guys. But inherently, that's the problem when you play the identity politics game and you start shouting out, well, this is the first Star Trek with a black female lead, and this is the first female doctor, and it's the first communist lesbian space, and in Star Wars is, once that's resoundingly rejected, you still have to deal with your employees that all wanted this shit. The employees that were mostly hired based on your new DEI practices and not on skill, removing all meritocracy, removing all accountability, and removing shame. And here we are. Just like most of us thought, the entire industry is fucked right now. I think it was Disbrew who sent me. He sent me Polymarket, said something to the effect of the unions are going to want to put on a tax on AI actors. An AI actor tax. Well, we'll see how long that lasts. And I didn't think there'd be a strike this year. I think the likelihood of a strike just went up a little bit. Because the union sees their end coming soon. For example, I saw a clip. Oh, I wish I could find it. Oh, I wish I could find it. It was of Steve Jobs talking about Pixar and how they create their movies. So they previs the whole movie, basically. They previs the whole movie. They work out what works and doesn't work and get that done before they animate it. And you can't do that with a live action movie. Except now you can. You can AI your entire fucking movie and just see what works, and it would act as previs. You'd find out what lines work and what doesn't work. It will save you tons of money and problem instead of throwing a movie together at the end and going, shit, we got to reshoot the shit out of this. That's 2 more months of work of bringing in crews and actors. All that's going to be gone because you'll be able to AI a fucking movie. The only thing that's keeping Hollywood from doing that is shame. It's the only time shame's working right now. I wish they'd use it for other things. Matthew Hammond for $2 says, would Alec Baldwin and Paul Kersey in Death Wish movie for the contradictions be entertaining? Maybe. Ryan Kittle for $10. Yes, the rumors are true. I did spit on Beardo's girlfriend's face, but in my defense, her mustache was on fire. Yikes. Dirty Harry Potter for 20 says, being in an Ollivander Magnum, the most powerful wand in the world, and would blow your head clean off, you'd have to ask yourself one question. Do you feel lucky? Well, do you, Snape? Matthew Hammond for $2. We have 2 problems. Too many pedos, too few organs for donation. Is there something that could be done to solve both? I'd be worried about that gene being passed on. I say cast it in the fire, destroy it. Match, I can't say the rest of this, sorry, for $5 says, we want Severus Snape, not... I can't say the rest of that. Can't say the rest of that. Anonymous for $5. Hail FNT and Razor Fist for just $5 a month. Help build a holodeck and revolutionize education with online transformation role play, including with AI for Chad. Go to Patreon. It is Sea Change Simulations. Teaching, not leering. Excellent. Excellent. I got to take care of some business here real quick. Hang on. Because this episode is sponsored by, speaking of AI, it's sponsored by Venice AI. Alexis listens to us and recommends products based on our conversations. Meta uses our information based on browsing and engagement history to sell to other companies. Why do we assume AI is going to be any different? If you've used any of the leading AI apps, you have probably been censored at some point, even for harmless questions or requests. With Venice.ai, it lets you use AI without handing over your sensitive information with features like messages encrypted and your conversation history is stored only in your browser. AI can be extremely valuable, but we shouldn't need to give up our privacy to use it. Venice utilizes leading open source AI models to deliver text, code, and image generation to your web browser. There's no downloads or installations. The Venice AI Pro Plan, I can talk, unlocks the full platform and features, including PDF uploads for summaries, the ability to turn off safe mode for unhindered image generation, the ability to change how Venice interacts with you by modifying the system prompt, limitless text, and high image limits. If you want to use AI without fear of handing over your most intimate thoughts, you can get 20% off the Pro plan. God. Using my link, venice.ai/nerdrotic, code nerdrotic. Thank you very much. All right. All right. I'm actually feeling a lot better. All right, we're back to WG for $25 has sent 5 Nerdrotic memberships. Hail WG. Jake Matheson for $2 says, in my opinion, Black Snape's song actually makes him cooler. It does. So shout out to Perry. Yeah, the talk of the weekend was Black Snape. Did a video on it. We talked about it a lot on FNT. Probably talk a lot more about it. It'll get memed to death, but just wait until you start seeing him in the show. And it makes the decision that much more, God, I want to say inexplicable, but it's absolutely on brand for Hollywood. And as they realize that I mean their entire future is in streaming now, whether they like it or not. Theaters are gonna always be around, but streaming has taken away the mid-level movie, the rom-com, the action movie. Those are no longer going to perform well. Like Crime 101 by Don Winslow, I think would have probably done better 10 years ago. I don't know how much better, but they didn't promote it at all because they know, we'll just put it on streaming. So it's that mid-level movie, and now movie theaters just exist for the, let's be generous, 40 movies a year. And of those 40, I'd say major tent poles are 15. And that's what they exist for. They're not going to survive, which sucks. Snape is in color now too, says Ministry of Wrong Think. Razor Fist, not Razor Fist. Matt Kindig for $1.99. Gary, when they adapt your book, you'll be black. It's not going to Netflix. Defcon Prime and the Power Pets for $2 says, I hate life right now. That's all I tried, guys. I did. Well, hang in there. As long as you're breathing, life is full of opportunities. Nick Tomato for 2 Chilean pesos. By the way, you were all wrong. The Bride was super good. Best ad read ever. In the history of mankind, maybe. Nick Tomato thinks The Bride was super good. Jackson Cagle for $5 nerd tax. Thank you very much. Southeastern Kaiju for $2. Did a former guest write that letter? Oh, yeah, maybe. Who knows? I got a hate letter. We were talking about Papa Sidu getting death threats. So I read a part of the last one I got like a week ago, and it was because I didn't cover War Machine. Yep. Red Guard Voice for $5. Is Black Snape pouring a 40 ounce of butter beer for his homie Dumbledore after he kills him? Maybe. Why does Harry suspect Snape being a thief? I don't know, Anthony. Thank you for the $2. It's going to create a lot of problems thematically. Favorite Game of Thrones twist? Everyone, please. Connor Burton. Oh my God, that would require way too much thought. My favorite Game of Thrones twist. Book or show? Book or show? Book is Lady Stoneheart. Lady Stoneheart. I think the show, yeah, I mean, it's got to be the Red Wedding. I knew it was coming, but I think the show handled it pretty well. I still wasn't in love with them removing Jane Westerling, but the phrase stabbing the pregnant woman was, whoa, that was whole. But definitely Lady Stoneheart in the book. I thought that was fucking amazing. Because while I was reading it, she was mentioned, right? And it just, I don't know, never clicked. Maybe it should have. And when was it Lemon Cloak introduces her, my lady. Connor Burton, training 199. Favorite. Okay, I read that one. Captain Marvel would have worked with Katie Sackhoff. Yes, Katie Sackhoff is more charming. And yeah, it's based on her being Starbuck before, but it shows that she could be a pilot, but I don't know. I don't think Katie Sackhoff would have gone on the red carpet and said the things that Bree said. Now, Bree is on a redemption arc and it's great. And we should always forgive people. And I think she's learned her lesson. And I think in Bree's case, and most actors' case, they're saying what they think their peers want to hear and not really thinking about the fans very much. And I think more people are now becoming adept to that. And also, not, the access media is the thing I always focused on. In my videos, I focused on the access media and the character, right? I still criticize Brie for saying stupid shit. But I really hated that she was miscast. I hated the Captain Marvel concept from Kelly Sue DeConnick, and I knew where it was leading. But the access media has been the enemy of the people all along. And that's why they have just been, they've got their panties in a bunch because they're losing so much power. And it's because they gave it away. They should have never had it to begin with, right? But when you see corporate critics, somebody put up the Rotten Tomato critic scores of the Daredevil seasons, right? And the lowest rated season is season 2 of Netflix. Like, they have no fucking credibility. Like, get the fuck out of here. Like, I've only seen one episode, but it's at 95%. Now, I think they've seen more than I have. And maybe it gets better, but that first episode was not good. It was really boring. Regarding the Harry Potter remake, to be fair, it cannot be more perfect race swap. Think about it. All of the teachers, they make the potions, elixirs, Professor Black. The drug's going to be high quality for sure. Oh boy, how do I say this name? It looks like Bukaki, but I don't think that's what it is. Thank you for the 100 Norwegian krona. Now, please, God, don't fuck with Aragorn. Oh, they are, Magnum Norse. IGN put out the article today that Lord of the Rings needs a full reboot like Harry Potter. And you don't think they'd make Aragorn black? They absolutely will. That's why I just want the shit left alone. I just leave it alone. Terry Masters for $5, part 1 of 2. Started watching Babylon 5 and I'm loving it. So far, my favorite episodes are Soul Hunter and Believers, which both bring up philosophical questions. Razor, he's not here. What are your thoughts on the Spider? He's my favorite pulp character and wish someone would do a faithful adaptation. It's a fun pulp character. The problem with the Spider is there's a thing called Spider-Man out there that I think prevents that. We were expecting Daredevil episodes to not be gay. Yes. Relating to Conan, public domain. Conan is in public domain in most places except for the US. It will hit public domain in the US in 2028. I love Conan, says Varn. That'll be interesting. Superman hits public domain in 2034 and Batman in 2035. 10 Rays Tube for $4.99. Slicing Fist. Loved your takedown of President Lincoln. Lincoln was the second worst president ever. If you look into the history. Mulder Scully for $1.99. Disney Star Wars OT recast. Black Kenobi. Yes. Female Muse was possessed by male Muse. She kills Elektra. Then Elektra fights the original Muse in hell with with Ghost Rider. It's a surprisingly good story, says Daniel Moore. This is all during Elektra being female Daredevil. Yeah, I would be shocked if that was good. That would be surprising if it was good. But it certainly looks like they are doing female Muse. But I could be wrong. And it might not be this season. Or, you know what they could have done? Kept around Muse, like the real Muse. Gary, settle the debate now. Who came first? Art C. Magnus from Fargate or Ars Hugh Magnus from Starscape? The characters were just the same, and it's crazy that one of them got away with stealing IP. Always late to the joke for 1999. I know there's thousands of videos breaking this down, but I know for a fact Arch C. Magnus from Fargate came first. He did. But the question is, Ars might have been conceived first, but it wasn't put into production. So, you know, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. Judah for $2. Babylon gods, half man, half animal, and then Zeus. Magnum Norse for 20 says, nothing is more glorious than Ryan understanding that his entire fan base is a bunch of fucking furries. It makes me happy. Sarish Campbell for $5. Shad, Lord of the Rings Twin Towers. Aragorn wields the sword of Hellas, son of Hama, and tells him it's a good sword. Did he lie? That sword was notched and rusted. That's a good question for Shad. I think he was just trying to make the boy feel better because he was probably going to die. And you know what? In those times, it might have been a good sword comparatively to a stick. Razor, who should play the Shadow in live action? Oh, that's a good question. Big Boss SB. I'll leave it to the chat. Who should play the Shadow in live action? Oh, Adam Driver. Alec Baldwin. No. Get Alec Baldwin back. Why not? Oh, Papacito, yes. As Epic Mike. Alan Richson gets cast as too many superheroes. And although in his little bicycle incident, I think he was in the right. Okay. After watching, I wasn't sure when I first saw it. And optically, it looks terrible. But the other guy was saying he was riding through the neighborhood fast, and we could see the speedometer on his helmet cam, and he was going 25 miles an hour. So he wasn't going that fast. If it was loud, tough shit, dude. Tough shit. You know, it's not like it happens often. Plus, the guy was British, so he's probably got like used to town councils and the kind of people who fucked with Jeremy Clarkson. Yeah, it was the middle of the day. He was with his kids. The guy jumped out in front of a bike. And if I'm with my kids and there's some guy jumping out in front of a bike, I'm gonna pound the shit out of that guy. Just going to happen. Okay. I know Richard's got TDS and people want to hate on him for that. You can. And he's probably roided up. But I don't think he was in the wrong on that one. I don't. But he gets cast too much. Would he make a good? He'd probably make a good Batman. Hell, he'd probably make a good Captain America. Probably a better Captain America than Batman. But for the Shadow, I think you need more of an actor as the Shadow. I'd love to ask Razor that question. That's a good question. And he's great in Reacher. Like Reacher's a fun show. Reacher's a fun show. But I think he's hasn't Alan Richardson come out and said he's like bipolar. I don't want to connect that to him if that's not true, but I think I've heard it. And he has my sympathy for that. Reacher is as a passive series. If you mean like it's not like super groundbreaking, it's just kind of there as a fun show to watch, and it's not like it's going to stay with you like a Night of the Seven Kingdoms or it's just it's a good passive show. That's what it is. I think that's a good term for it. Well said. Talking about pulp, y'all ever see Doc Savage 1975? I did. Razor's talked about it, I believe, in a video. I did. Speaking of Lovecraft, still kind of sad that Del Toro didn't make The Mountains of Madness. It needs a movie badly. He would be perfect for it. Psycho Hobo. He would be absolutely perfect for it. I hope he gets back. The thing is, Del Toro is like, he'll go through a stretch not making a movie. And apparently he's like super flaky. I mean, he's an artist, right? But he's like super flaky to work with. But I'd love to see that. Absolutely love it. Steve Watson for 20 British pounds, proper money. Stand-up comedian who can act a bit for a Star Trek role. I don't know who I'd pick over the black horror. Did lean into the Brit being evil trope, though. Well, Brits are evil. I think that's fine. I've never had a problem with that. Evil or gay, we're not sure. We love you. I know the Brits have been a little jealous with the love fest that's been going on between America and Japan. But we still love you, Brits. Most of you. I do. Key Wested for $10. The meetup was awesome. Great to see everyone at MegaCon. If only they dropped that Harry Potter trailer a week before the con, the vibe would have been even better. It'd have been off the charts, man. Another, and X-Ray Girl forgot the R for $10. Love y'all. You are like MST3K commentary on entertainment. 10 out of 10. Friend Simulator. Cheers. Was it Mahler? We were talking about this. I don't know why they don't let us do this, but I believe it was Mahler and Az. And we were like, hey, why won't movies like do a realistic licensing fee and allow watch parties? Where we do a stream. And I think it can only be up for a limited time, right? So it couldn't be up in perpetuity. But like you lease a movie for like a week, and we Yeah, we run commentary on it and do a full stream on it and do a watch party. That'd be fucking awesome. I know Twitch does it for like 100 people. I don't know if they still do it, but why not? Especially for older movies. So like anything that's over 10 years old, you charge what? Couple $300, and depending on the movie, right? Couple $300 to license it for a week. You are allowed to play it on YouTube, monetize it for that week. I think that'd be awesome. And you could do it with good and bad. And that's just another revenue stream. You know, I don't know how big it would be, but it's better than not making money at all. And then, you know what? Start out, you know, there's the public domain movies now, but start out with movies that have been just around for a while. I think Creature Features, which is out of the Bay Area. I've been on their show a couple times. I think they just got Dead Heat, which means Dead Heat is up. I mean, that means it's, I could show Dead Heat. I love Dead Heat, by the way. Love that movie. One Piece live action, shite, anime, decent. I like them both. I like the live action quite a bit. But I wouldn't be surprised at all if I get ahead in the anime and then I come back and go, fuck the live action. We'll see. Is the Constantine sequel still happening? I don't know. I thought it was. Akiva Goldsman wrote that. Ugh. But I love that movie. We got an early premiere to that one at the comic shop. And I was like, and I'm a huge Constantine fan. So I'm like, at the time, you'll have to forgive me. I'm like, Keanu can't fucking act. And Keanu as fucking Constantine, are you high? He doesn't look like him. That's such a weird choice. So we go to the movie and we all walked out of it like, I was not expecting that to be good. And I was really not expecting it to be really good. It's like completely surprised. One of the most surprising movies ever for me. Walking out of that going, holy shit, that was good. Yeah, no, it is a good fucking movie through and through. Absolutely through and through a good movie. And it really does capture the essence of Constantine, of John Constantine. So hats off to Keanu on that one. Satan was fucking awesome in it. And Gabriel and Rachel Weisz is just hot. There's two of them in there for a little bit. Ryan Gosling as Constantine. No, I think it was Mahler talking about Project Hail Mary yesterday, and I agree with them. There's two types of Ryan Goslings you get. You get Blade Runner 2049 and Drive. I like Drive a lot. I fucking hate Blade Runner 2049 with the intensity of 10,000 Suns. And then you get like, Project Hail Mary. Why am I blanking on the Stuntman movie that I love so much? The Fall Guy. I loved The Fall Guy. So you get that type of Ryan Gosling, and I think and even like as Ken in Barbie, I liked him as Ken. So I think he's really good in those types of roles. I don't think he'd be terrible. I think with Constantine, you need a Brit. I want a Brit as Constantine. We've already taken the chance with an American, and we did a good job with Keanu, but I want a Brit. He's blonde. He wears his like Columbo jacket. He's smoking cigarettes. And there's plenty of Brits who can do it. How about you get the Brit who played him in the audio series in Sandman, Taron Egerton? Problem solved. Matt Ryan was great. Matt Ryan was a great Constantine. That season on NBC was awesome. It's a Columbo jacket because it's tan. That's the only reason I call it. It's a trench coat, but it reminds me of a Columbo jacket. That's what I always called it. And he was the one character I could cosplay for Halloween. Hang on. Let's see if I can find that. I embarrassed myself without a beard. Here we go. God, there's a lot of pictures up here. Fucking. I never go to my Facebook. Ooh, that's an embarrassing one. You're not going to see that one. I'm not going to be able to find it now. Where'd it go? I'm wondering. Oh, there it is. Okay. You're going to laugh. Oh, shit. Can I not share it? I think I can. Okay, yeah. Beardless boy. And that's Strider's sword, by the way. Where's my cigarette, though? Yeah, I should have a cigarette. I was smoking back then too, so I could smoke while trick or treating with the kids. I'm a terrible father. Oh my God. We can remove that now. Beardless boy. I was so much younger. That was 10 years ago. It was 10 years ago. 3,000 years ago. Gandalf. I was there. There's my lista. Sock Hop Singer for 199 says, make X Files about blind people taking X. Yeah, I'm not excited about Ryan Coogler's X Files because it's going to be the Malcolm X Files or American History X Files. It's going to be all race based, and if you look at his body of work, it's all kind of got that going for it. I would like to see Ryan Coogler, even with Creed, which it's light in Creed. I'd like to see him direct something where you don't know that a black man is directing this. This is the problem with female directors too. I saw some twat, say that it's time Doctor Who has the female showrunner, and they should have had a female showrunner for Jodie Whittaker. And it's and why? Why is it time? Is there one that's qualified? Name one female showrunner that's qualified to make Doctor Who that appeals to the masses and won't be some lesson in misogyny. Name one. They got to be a Brit. One doesn't exist. Believe me, or the BBC would have done it. And that's what got us in this trouble in the first place. The director, I'm forgetting her name, for A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, half the episodes were directed by a woman. You couldn't fucking tell. That's where you are a successful female director, because you're a successful director. You're not a female director. You are directing something that is male driven with a male protagonist, and I couldn't tell. That's where you succeed. That's where she did a great job. Those shows were well directed. And there's another person I want to mention. I always forget her name because I'm a sexist. Lauren LaFranc. Lauren LaFranc was the showrunner and writer of Penguin, and you couldn't tell. It was written by a woman. It was just written by a human who wrote a Penguin story, and you couldn't tell. That's where they succeed. Catherine Bigelow, great example of a director. You need to drop female director and be a fucking director. It's not about female or male perspective. It's about perspective of the story and your protagonist. Because there's this false assumption, particularly in Hollywood, that if a black person's going to direct something, well, it's got to be about racism, because that's all every single one of them think about all the time. Kind of an inherently racist thought, but and women are always thinking about how they're fucking suffragettes and Handmaid's Tale, which is progressive liberal porn, oppression porn. It's like Handmaid's Tale. The reason it's successful is the same reason women listen to true crime. Who, strong, independent woman goes home at night and listens to stories about women getting brutally raped and murdered. That's weird. Misery porn. People are fascinated by murderers, though. And you always hear the stories about murderers getting letters and being extremely popular in prison, and that is 100% true. And it is disturbing. They're like rock stars to some women. It's a fetish. Not really sure what's behind it. Only know that you probably wouldn't want to date a woman who wrote a murderer pretty regularly, because murderers are really bad people. I met a few in there, and they had absolutely no regrets for what they've done. They regretted getting caught. But I can't say I ran into a murderer, which is only 4 or 5 I ran into, that were really sorry for what they did. And when they would tell you what they did, it was so matter-of-factly, it was disturbing. Key Weston, the meetup was on. Oh, I read that one. Oh, it was 3K. Someone on Facebook tried to suggest you guys doing a panel at Dragon Con, and that went over swimmingly, said Beefy 5-layer husbando. Oh, yeah, I don't think Dragon Con would welcome us. I don't think most cons would welcome us. It's kind of surprising that MegaCon welcomes us, and I appreciate it. But that's Fan Expo. It's run by the people who do Fan Expo in Dallas, and we've been with them before. I've done a panel at Comic-Con, but that was through Chris. And I think Chris is persona non grata now too. And it's like, whatever. I don't need their validation. I don't. It's like I'll go up and do one, and maybe they can hear my side of the story and look past a thumbnail or a title and listen to what I have to say, or Drinker has to say, or Chris, or any of you guys have to say. But they never want to hear that. They never want to hear what you have to say when you have your reasoned argument, because it would shatter their worldview of waking up every morning, being right about everything. I mean, look what Rob from Comics Explained went through when he had to explain to some dip. Oh, by the way, I saw that dipshit at MegaCon. I could have sworn I saw him. So the guy who called out Rob from Comics Explained, the guy who looked like, I better not say what he looked like. The guy who called out Rob for following me and Drinker, and then Rob had to make this long video explaining why he has to follow people. Which, again, I want to express my gratitude to you guys. I've never been in that position, nor would I do something like that, ever. I would never, I don't feel the need to explain who I follow and who I don't follow to anybody. I think most of you, if not all, figure out that, I just follow people to follow them, to hear what they got to say. It's not a ringing endorsement of everybody, although I don't really have a problem with anybody I follow. And unlike Rob, I would sit down and have coffee with anybody. I would. Yeah, maybe not like Destiny, because he's a creepo, but most people. Big Bash Bosch, hail the fellowship of the 199. Right back at you. Alan Richson's bloodied fists for £2 British. It's the 15th anniversary of my mom's passing. Oh, I'm sorry, buddy. Soundwave for £5 British. You guys made me smile this week, so thank you. Hail the fellowship. Hey, if that's the least we can do, that's awesome. Putting a smile on your face at our expense. That's why, with Friday Night Tights, I'm not worried about AI, because my philosophy has always been be too retarded to emulate. And I think we've done that. I think we've done a good job. But I'm sorry about your mom. Yeah, when my dad's anniversary comes, it's always pretty somber. And it's been over 20 years. JE for $10. Love having Razor on the panel. I do too. We'll have him back soon. Love Razor. Aside from his political stuff, what he excels at is he does Metal Mythos, he does lore videos, he talks about comics, he talks about games, but like his Conan stuff, his Elric stuff was great. And listen, through his Elric and Conan videos, he sold a lot of books. I bought a lot of shit. And his Metal Mythos is fucking awesome. The opening of the Silmarillion is literally the creation story for Christianity. Melkor is Lucifer, questioning Iluvatar's plan and being cast down. Yeah, I think what's getting caught in the minutia with the Jack Posobiec thing is, I think Jack, to be fair, probably was talking about the iconography and the characters and what was pulled from mythology, calling it pagan. And some of it in a technical term is. But in a very ineloquent way, he said the story was pagan, which it isn't at all. So I would say I would have, and then like double and tripling down on it instead of taking the L, I think says more about character than anything. Listen, I fuck up on stuff. I fucked up on something last week on the Lord of the Rings video. Fucked up. You know what? I'm a fuck up. I'm a total fuck up. But, you just own it. It's no big deal. It's okay to be wrong. That the fact that you have to like walk through and I am the expert on everything and I am never wrong about anything. Like I wouldn't want to be around somebody like that. And also, not related to Jack Posobiec because I know little to nothing about him other than he's a big Game of Thrones fan. So calling, and Ryan brought that up too. It's calling Lord of the Rings pagan when you're a big Game of Thrones fan. So calling it pagan sounded like, well, it's satanic, like anime and video games. And it's that bullshit that doesn't win you any fucking friends. And it's not true. Now, is there a lot of, like, as somebody who's not Christian, is there a lot of satanic, weird bullshit behind the scenes in Hollywood and in other entertainment? Absolutely. 100%. We can talk about that, but it's not in Tolkien. Okay. It's not in fucking Tolkien. A devout Catholic. Just, I would look up Tolkien and C.S. Lewis talking about their conversations with each other. Just look it up. The problem that Hollywood has had and the modern Tolkien scholar who tries to twist his work is the foundation in a Christian religion that most academics have a huge problem with. And then you get the Tolkien Society 4 years ago running a whole seminar talking about the queer and Tolkien and fucking trans and Tolkien. It's like, and trying to make Sam and Frodo gay. It's like, fuck off with all of that. That is just not true. You're imprinting it on it. Even the Tolkien professor, that guy's full of fucking shit too. You know, it's trying to twist it into something it's just not. There's a reason the activists have been circling Tolkien for a long time. Listen, Michael Moorcock, a writer I like, who did Elric, called Tolkien a fascist. Tolkien actually fought them. Hey, Michael Moorcock's still around. I like his writing a lot. Dude's just taken a lot of acid. And as somebody who's taken a lot of acid, I get it. I'm so glad that my first real book was The Hobbit, says Dreadnought Logan for $2. It's a good first book. It's a great first book. Razorfuss putting the U back in Kalur. Respect. Peter Jackson is a New Zealander. New Zealand fell a long time ago. This is a country that granted agency in law to a river and a mountain. Expecting him to save the day is even more bonkers than thinking, Cackles, I'd be a good POTUS. Yeah, Peter Jackson is an artiste. So he's going to have his wacky politics. I don't know if he's an overt commie. I just think he's an uber liberal. Remember, Doctor Who fans, just on a side note, remember when Peter Jackson offered to direct an episode of Capaldi's Doctor Who, and all he wanted in payment was a Dalek, and they said no? Pepperidge Farm remembers. Hi, King Feanor, Alpha Chad, Miller for $10. Gary, just pull up my page. I've been blasting Jack all afternoon. Yes, I appreciated that. I wasn't going to get into a pissing match on fucking Twitter about it. It's like I have said often. This is where the right loses. We just did a panel at MegaCon called "The Importance of Pop Culture," and I think the panel went really well. Everybody, got their say on it. The questions from you guys were great, and it's something that the right just doesn't understand. And it's mostly from a perspective, well, that's childish. What does C.S. Lewis say about that? If I can find the quote. Yes. When I became a man, I put away childish things, including fear of childishness, and the desire to be very grown up. Word. Being grown up and being serious and unfun is not anything I'd ever be interested in. Obviously, there's no shame to my game whatsoever, but you could still have a childlike curiosity and keep that childlike wonder as an adult while you're still doing the adult things like paying the mortgage or paying the bills or raising your kids. And as C.S. Lewis points out, it's an ego thing. Like you're worried about what other people think. I wouldn't waste my time doing that. But going back and forth and then doubling and tripling down, and I believe he even used Wikipedia to back up his argument, which was just chef's kiss. Listen, I've been told pride is a sin. Hail FNT. Hey, Gary, the video Perry made nearly made me cry laughing. Do you think you could get him to make a similar videos of other ruined franchises, or is this just a one-off Black Snake? You have to ask Perry that one. I think it grew in the making. It was supposed to be just something, some musical thing, and it grew into what it is. And it's fantastic. I think people are reacting to it now, which is great. I love it. Udite for 20 says Tolkien disliked allegory, but he also disliked Narnia in general because of the fantastical elements felt like haphazard and mismatched. I agree, and hurts Narnia for me too. It caused a rift with Lewis, but they reconciled. Yeah, Tolkien also despised Dune. And and he despised the Beatles. Matt Robertson for $10. Can we get HFG and the Colbert Lord of the Rings projects and just get a series about either Fëanor, Fingolfin, or Glorfindel, or just one about the song of creation of the world? Guess not. Fëanor would be fucking awesome, but it would have to be in the right hands. It would have to be in the right hands. I like Poso, but his pop culture takes are just as bad as Matt Walsh's, says Tricky for $5, and that's fine. You don't have to hate the guy, right? I'm not interested in the right ring influencer commentary space for a lot of reasons. Nothing to do with Jack, but I kind of like being in the let's be the relief from politics. We could certainly call shit out in Hollywood, but let's I don't know. Let's be the comic relief. We demand a green Tom Bombadil, says Critical Orc Theory for $2. Please make all the house elves black too. They already started memes like with that. Big Boss SB for 199. Hail the Fellowship. Thoughts on Spider-Man Noir series? It's Cage. I'm going to give it a shot. Comes out in May, right? I forgot. Let's take a look. Pretty sure it's May. If I spell that right. Yeah, May 25th. I will be in Japan, but I'll cover it some way, one way or another. I wonder how many brilliant writers who'd have done a banger job on Tolkien adaptations never got a chance because they weren't part of the alphabet mafia and had the in connections. Probably a lot. Like I said in my video, I don't think there's anybody qualified to do any of the Unfinished Tales or the Silmarillion. There's definitely stories to be told that are fucking awesome. Feanor Alpha Chad put one guy in his place who was like, you guys are, I think it was something, I might be conflating two tweets, but it's like, you're defending this story more than you're defending your faith, and they're just children's stories. And he throws up Silmarillion, Fall of Gondolin, Children of Huron. It's like, yeah, children's stories. Happy 92nd birthday to Julian Glover, the man who did Battle with the Doctor, The Rebel Alliance, James Bond, and Indiana Jones. Hail. Oh, yeah. And also, well, did some Battle with the Starks as well as Maester Pycelle. Rolling a clean, sleep, smoking gilly, sipping off polyjuice, laid back with my mind on my galleons and my galleons on my mind. Snape Doggy Dog, says Black Cane for $5. Saint Cimmerian for $19.99. Colbert doesn't understand Tolkien despite being a fan. Tolkien themes, values, and aspirations are contradictory to Colbert's radical ideology. Evil cannot create anything new. They can only distort and destroy. Yeah, I don't doubt that at all that Colbert has been a fan forever. He knows the dialects. He can speak Elvish. He's always been a fan. Doesn't mean he should write it. Hail the Fellowship. I'm 100% against the choice of a black person for Snape, but even more someone unknown using the situation to build a career. Is there a prominent black actor that could play the role, Sam Jackson as Nick Fury? No. Sam Jackson as Nick Fury, you could make an argument for because they already did it in the Ultimates, and they really put a lot of the Ultimates into the MCU. To the point where if they race swapped him back to white Nick Fury, people would complain, not knowing that he was the original Nick Fury. But with Snape, no. Snape's a deal breaker. Like, there's no actor that would work. I don't care how good they were. It's just wrong. And the whole point is they did this for social and political reasons. They didn't do it for creative reasons. And they will reap what they sow with this one. I can't check because my downvote thing stopped working on Chrome, but it was up there as far as the ratio. It was getting close. Greg Riley for $10. Hail Fellowship. Gary, I got your book, and now I tend to catch your streams from the beginning. I realize that your book title, I realize how great your book title is. Cheers, lads. Cheers. Thank you. Glad you enjoyed the book. Jeremy White for $5. The PC nonsense started in the mid to late 60s. Rewatch Monty Python's Life of Brian. PC started getting really bad in the 90s, but the nonsense can go way back. But it was mostly kept within academia at that point. Super Pot Roast for $5 says, sorry, Jeremy, Project Hail Mary is better than Interstellar. They're totally different movies, though. Now, if you enjoy it more, It's more fun than Interstellar. Do I like Project Hail Mary more than I like Interstellar? I think so. But there's some people who will die on the Interstellar hill, and it's a very popular movie. Joseph Quinlan for £5 Nerdrotic, with regards to the streaming versus weekly, surely you could just compare the dumpster fires of CW and Marvel slop AI, Arrow versus Loki. Well, they were both released weekly. But to your point, both were popular and grew and grew in popularity. So what always gets conflated, particularly with Jeremy's argument, is he is for, I think you should give people a choice. Okay. There's giving people a choice, and then there's my argument, which is what's a good business decision? What will keep your show in the cultural zeitgeist longer, giving it a chance to spread its wings, grow organically, have more people talk about it. And you can just leave out YouTubing completely, just people talking about it online and theorizing. You do not get to do that when you drop everything all at once. And Netflix is generally the only one who does it regularly. And with One Piece, it's already starting to drop in the cultural zeitgeist. Like, it's being talked about a lot less. It's only been out for a couple weeks. Now, tell me, is anybody going to be talking about it on April 28th, which is when the 8th episode would have aired? And I could make a pretty good argument, now that we know like how good the season was, in my opinion anyway, that more people would talk about it, which means more people would watch it along the way and take a chance. And more people would be talking about it longer. So on April 28th, when there's the One Piece finale, it'd be trending on Twitter. It'd be trending everywhere. On April 28th, now that they dropped it all at once, nobody's going to be talking about it. It would reduce churn. It would make you, it would feel like you were with the story longer instead of just this disposable thing that you watch over a weekend or the course of a weekend and it gets forgotten. And One Piece is incredibly popular. It's doing really well on Netflix. And yesterday, I'll double check. Yesterday, it was number 9. It was number 9 on their chart when it could have been 1 or 2 or 3 for 8 weeks in a row. It's now at number 9. Let's see where it is now. If I can look. Let's take a look. Where is the top 10? There we go. Number 1 is Anaconda. Number 2 is Minions. Number 3 is Bad Guys. Number 4 is Peaky Blinders. Number 5, War Machine. Number 6 is Sisu. The Revenge. The Creator is number 7. K-Pop Demon Hunters is 8. Number 9 is Gaslit by my husband. And number 10 is not One Piece. The Bedline. So One Piece will say it's in the top 10 on its thumbnail, but I'm looking at the top 10 right now, and One Piece is not on it. On their own platform. It's still doing really well. It could have done better if it was released weekly. If Black Snake was written in Oz, he'd have a prayer mat and declare he is peaceful. Yep. Episode 5 equals Lily's choice, says English Batchers. The opposite of whitewashing a character is staining. Snape has been stained like so many other characters. Whitney Chapman for $5. Harry Potter and the Goblet of Malt Liquor. The Mighty Zan for $4.99. Anyone else see Damon Wayans' Men on Film character and superimpose a tiny wizard hat on his head? No, nobody. I don't think anybody saw that. DL10, thank you for the $9.99. Walks away. Doesn't have anything to say. Epic Reader for $20. I wasn't invested in Star Trek, Star Wars, or Doctor Who IPs, but when they mess with Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter, it makes me mad. Hagrid does not speak the Queen's English. Snape is not black. Vernon Dursley, Dudley are fat. Yep. Snape can't be black. He'd be in Azkaban, says Matt Kindig for $1.99. Scottish Ranger for £5 British. Oh, what's up, man? Great seeing yas at MegaCon last week. Highlight of my trip was having Garrett trust a foreigner that doesn't speak to drive him back to his hotel. Oh, you drove him back to his hotel? Holy shit. Was he that drunk? Akshke Patil for 100 Indian pesos. You are also are. We Indians have figured out shit you haven't. It's not left or right. It's the church. Marty for $4.99. Harry Potter won't go 7 seasons as the agenda grows, especially since the wait will be 2 years between shows. The Night of the Seven Kingdoms, I'm worried for you. Viewers will drop off. Viewers might drop off anyway for season 2 because of the nature of the story. I like it, but it's very character driven, people sitting around and talking. Eudite for $5. All that Black Snape costume is missing is puffed out green and silver Slytherin boxers. Clank, I'm a tank for $5. Will Snape leave class for smokes and a 40 ounce and not come back? I don't know. Marty for $4.99. The Dursleys aren't fat because body positivity. These people handcuff themselves creatively. Faithful is the new red flag. Colbert just used it. Yep, I agree. Hail Razorfist, your DS9 retrospective is awesome. Keep it up. Christ is king. Eat real food. Lift heavy things. Play retro games. That could have been from Dan Vask. From Craig Morning. Thank you for the $10. First Phil from Motorhead, then Chuck Norris. Now Ross, the boss from Manowar, has left the building. R.I.P. Metal King. Says 32 flavors and Nick Weiser. Thank you for the $5. The 90s, I wonder if they will still make the women wear hijab. If they don't, they might not be allowed to air it in public. Clippy Die Clamor for $10. Severus Snoop's favorite spell is Ignacio. Did I say that right? I can't read right now. I'm losing my voice. Surprised they didn't get a bunch of I can't see what the image is. Oh, yeah. Thank you, Cam. 13% of wizards and witches are Death Eaters, but responsible for 80% of the crimes. Oh, my. Cesario, 1776 for $10. So glad that Razor has guests on. Can't wait to see more Razor. Please pet Cesario for me. Good dog. Joe for $9.99. Hi, Shad. I'm trying to get a hold of you to see if you'd be willing to test something. I tried to send it through Patreon, but the limit was too small. Is there an email I could send it to you? Probably shadiversity@gmail.com. It's usually connected to the more section on their main channels. If you click more, you'll see the email. Severus Chains and his chambered Glock. Black Snape moan. Censorship sucks, says Thumb Ugly for $2. Kata is the first black female dwarf. Skip Cole for $1.99. Sorry, I meant Shad, not Chad. He'll take it. You should add Dave Smith to this panel. Debate Razor Fist. That would be good on another channel. I'd watch it. Cannison for $5. Can't wait for Harry's scar to hurt when he looks at Snape. Gary, stable coins are pegged to the dollar. 1 coin equals $1. It's useful as payment rails for poor countries for operating 24/7, 365, unlike banks. So just for the record, it was an ad read for pegging. Oh, Well, shit. Ginormous J for 20. What up, my muggles? That's right. I'm taking that word back, y'all. Why you messing with my man Snape? Ain't he got enough trouble? If Harry's dad tries something, he's gonna get an ASIO. I can't say the rest. Yeah. Something. Skip Cole for 20. Hail FNT and Razor Fist for just $5 a month. Help us revolutionize education with transformational online role play. Think holodeck. Patreon. Sea change simulations. Donate Shad, not Chad. We are adding AI. The Vexorcist for $5. Hail Panel and Hail Razor. Love what you're doing. What you do, may our pills be like the real Snape, not black. Did Samuel L. Jackson cast as Nick Fury bother you? Asked Jason Nelson. At the time, no, because I was reading the Ultimates. But I can't say it like bothered the hell out of me. But Samuel L. Jackson playing Nick Fury doesn't fundamentally change the story like a black guy playing Snape. So if people are going to try to use that argument, then you have to get into the nuances of it, right? Would I have rather had a like properly cast Nick Fury? Sure. But Samuel L. Jackson played it as in early on as Nick Fury, but we all know how that turned out, don't we? They took the race swap, and Hollywood does what they do to black men. They love to feminize them because it's a fetish. Not only did Nick Fury get his eye scratched out by a kitty cat, removing all badassery of the character, they made him a trans allegory by having him with a scroll. How about that? Went over it in detail in my Secret Invasion review. Hey, it was great seeing you all at MegaCon, and Odin specifically. Anyone chilling with you at the meetup? Glad you provided to my wife who hung out with us that not everyone was short bus material. It's a Psycho Mouse. I don't know about that. The projects for 4 parts here for, what is it, 5, 10, 15, $25. I don't know if y'all actually said it before, but I think you're stopping short on the corruption of genre IP. Yes, big sister energy when they take your favorite toys away and make you mad, but ask why it's so important to them. They take over the trash of all your favorite IPs so you have nothing left to make you happy, escapism, or believe in. It's like wanting to ban your faith or old glory so you don't have anything to fight for and you're easier to conquer. It's the far left playbook and rant. Great point, but we've covered that a lot. Like absolutely a lot. That is a huge part of it. They told them themselves, particularly Bad Reboot, Jar Jar Abrams' organization during the Summer of Love, when they said enough white comfort. It's particularly rich coming from a production company that is in Hollywood that is 100% a leisure brand and relies on comfort. But when they're regurgitating that kind of language without even really understanding what it means, or understanding what it means and just telling on themselves, that's what they mean. So you're right. And we have covered it. They want to take away all these things so you're not comfortable. You have nothing to enjoy. The activist doesn't want you comfortable. The activist lives to create discomfort. But they ain't taking away my comfort. I enjoy my comforts. Snape casting had an obvious win. Adam Driver. He would have brought thousands, maybe millions of Raylos to the party. Money left on the table. You're not wrong, Gawker's death rattle. Razor now knows what it's like to be a colored person. Rolling down the street, smoking Ditney, sipping on poly juice, laid back with my mind on my lily and my lily on my mind. Says Henry T for 20. Forsaken Crow for 2,000 yen. Hail, y'all. Heard about the news of Disney Plus making a live adaptation of Christopher Paolini's Aragon book. I'm so worried about this. You should be, because they might incorporate their DEI bullshit, which they will, and it won't be a true, faithful adaptation of the book. It probably won't. Star Trek Legacy petition is now at 60,000. Please help. I don't think I think that could happen. I think a lot of things could happen once Kurtzman is gone. Waiting for that announcement soon. Magnum Norris for $10. So wait, that Titanic song is currently happening. Anyone who doesn't like Chopper is a little bitch. Hi, Ryan. Wow. So happy to see Garrett. I missed you. Yeah, we missed him too. He's back. He's out of the Star Trek dungeon. Calling it now. Snape's wand will be massive. What's he done to you? Well, said James, appearing to deliberate the point. It's more the fact that he exists, if you know what I mean. My question is James a racist or the half-crip prince? He's racist. He'll be racist in the show. Amazing how Project Hail Mary makes audiences adore and relate to a crab spider alien character made of a rock, when most movies of the last decade can't do that with human characters. Yep. Hail Rocky. I got the popcorn bucket, by the way. It's cool. I think Snape looks all right. Love you guys, says Woong Tang Dan 420 for $1.99. I wonder why. Every time I want to be less racist, these assholes keep pulling me back in. You're not racist, though. That's the whole thing. The whole point of the argument is you're not racist at all. In the least bit. You're not racist. The casting was racist. It was inherently racist because it was specifically done so the show will be less white. For no other reason. We haven't heard a reason for the casting. And if you do, it will be, he was the best person in the job. That's utter bullshit. They're like, one character has to be black because this show is too white. It's going to be Snape. That's inherently a racist decision. So you're fighting racism with racism. And this isn't our first fucking rodeo, by the way. Why do you think Captain America is black? And then nobody accepted him as Captain America. And then when people said Steve Rogers is Captain America, when some innocent person went on Twitter and said, Steve Rogers is Captain America, if I did it right now, my mentions will be filled with people calling me a racist. Number one, anytime I do that or Miles Morales, I don't really do them anymore. It's an intelligence test. It's an internet test. Because what I'm saying is factually true. Miles Morales is Miles Morales. We've already explained this before. Steve Rogers is Captain America. And people project their racism on that statement. That's 100% true because the statement doesn't say Sam Wilson is not Captain America. Doesn't say Miles Morales isn't Spider-Man. So they tell on themselves every time. That's why it's so fun. And then like I started getting paid for it. I got like $4. Or you can just put here, I can tweet right now. Hang on. I will post Snape is white. Sorry, I'm looking at Drinker just posted the BBC. World News came out with a real headline that says, "Have we become too dog friendly?" And we all know what's behind that, don't we? Don't we? Some peaceful religion that doesn't like dogs. We all know why the BBC. Fuck no, we aren't too friendly. We aren't friendly enough to dogs. We don't deserve dogs. They're innocent, beautiful creatures. If I could take in 100 adopted dogs, or who are in the shelters, I would. And I'm probably gonna be one of those old men who has like 15 dogs, because every time I see something on the shelter, I'm like, oh, fuck. I'll give him a home. We just took one in. Ace, he's awesome. He's gaining weight, by the way. He's gained 5 pounds, everybody. He was malnourished. He had worms. He was a stray forever. He was shell-shocked. He's starting to talk. Like if you pet him, he goes, it's really cute. He's starting to bark. He's eating well now. He gets along with Remy great. So they're starting to play. So he's starting to come out of his shell. It's awesome to see. It's awesome to see. And if I could do that with a fucking 100 dogs, I would. Okay. Wish I could. So fuck off. I agree with Drinker. I'm going to like it. Drinker said, go fuck yourselves, BBC. I second that. But I'm just going to post right now. Snape is white. There we go. Let's see how that goes down. Drinker is the GOAT. Drinker is absolutely the GOAT. And I will be echoing his sentiment in a little bit. Yeah, Drinker rescues doggos as well. Greyhounds. I like to judge, throughout life, you get to know somebody. I don't know if the term judge is great, but I use it all the time, individually, right? And a deal breaker for me on trust, on whether I can trust you as another human being. It's a pretty simple one. I'm sure most of you have this, if not all. It's how you feel about animals, how you feel about dogs. If you're the kind of person who would say, I don't like dogs, then I'm not going to like you. Period. X-ray girl really likes dogs. She thinks they're delicious. No, she's. Please include Jack Poso's awful take in the Lord of the Rings talk. We did. I mean, listen, I'm not gonna there's a saying from We Too Low, from The Art of Me More. Never interrupt the retard when they're making a retard. And these are words I live by. Okay. I didn't have to say anything after he started doubling and tripling down and then citing Wikipedia. All these right-wing guys, and listen, I'm not going to disagree with this point, who say Wikipedia is propaganda, which it is, and then to go back and cite it for something when it comes to Tolkien. I promise you, the editors at Wikipedia think Tolkien is a racist fascist, or was, and thinks his fandom mostly is too. It's Wokepedia. It's crap. I use Grokpedia now. Grokpedia is pretty good. Yeah, don't be like, yeah. That's like citing the New York Times. We got you, bro. The Huffington Post said that Tolkien is pagan. Oh, I remember Wikipedia. I used to go to Wikipedia all the time, but they're woke as fucking stupid now too. Remember the good old days when we had like 5 nerd websites to go to? The OneRing.net, the Force.net, Wikipedia. Oh, why am I blanking on it now? I used to go to this site all the fucking time. Ain't It Cool News. I used to go to Ain't It Cool News every day. Every day. Ain't It Cool News, Force.net, Wikipedia, the OneRing.net for the forums that I was part of, Rotten.com, Drew's Scriptorama. Does anybody remember Drew's Scriptorama out there? Where you could just download scripts and print them out. Darth Vader soundboard, College Humor. I remember when IGN was fun. Yes. That's really you in the avatar right there, too. So Drew's Scriptorama, I was talking about it with Mahler, and it's not around anymore. But yeah, you could go there, and I downloaded the James Cameron Spider-Man script, the Kevin Smith Superman script, like everything was there. GameSpot. Yeah, I never went GameSpot much, but it was better. But I remember going to CBR and actually enjoying it. CBR, IGN, Ain't It Cool News. Old Harry Knowles got Me Too'd into oblivion. Oh, yeah. Speaking of my language, oh, Harry Knowles. Remember when Rainn Wilson played a character like him in Andre? I do. Harry Knowles. So, Harry, what? You might be joking. I don't know what he's doing nowadays. Living in shame. The Digital Bits, which is still around. Bill Hunt's The Digital Bits. Always went there for like new Blu-rays. It was fun. Attack of the Show was on the air. Come on. It was good times. And Newsarama. Josh Kelsey drops $19.99 and walks away. That's what he does. The Snape controversy is not racism. It's like Black Panther meme. If they cast Ryan Gosling as Snape, they would equally be pissed. Exactly. And we brought up the point of Aaron Pierre being rumored as Black Panther and people freaking out because he was too light skinned. And I agree with them. I 100% agree with anybody complaining that he's too light skinned for Black Panther. 100%. And for that very same reason is why I'm against Black Snape. I'm also against Asian Snape and Latino Snape. Although the problem is, even if you got different skin color people like they did with Papa Escuito, he doesn't have a hook nose. He doesn't have straight hair. He's not the character. So this is HBO's Snape. And the way it's shot, there's a lot of the trailer I liked. I like the kids. I'm fine with the kids. And I think a lot of stuff like McGonagall looked great. John Lithgow as Dumbledore looked great. I think it's shot too dark. It looks like it was shot by Miguel Sapochnik. And I feel like they're going to add a lot of stuff, which means they're going to take a lot of stuff away from the books. And I don't want to see the interpretation from somebody who worked on His Dark Materials or Succession on Harry Potter. I don't know much about His Dark Materials story other than it is the atheist response to Narnia, which in and of itself is subversive. But I've seen Succession, which is a very dark, nihilistic show, which is easy shit to write. It's really difficult to write something like Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings. That's why a lot of people don't do it. It's really difficult to write something like Project Hail Mary because Hollywood is filled with, well, talentless hacks, but talentless hacks who are ironic, who are nihilistic, who think good is silly. You know, it's kind of like James Gunn writing Superman. Hail Razor Fist, my fellow Protestant. Is he a Protestant? Somebody asked in the chat what religion I am. I am not part of any organized religion. I was confirmed as a Lutheran when I was a kid. But I'm not an atheist. But Professor Chirp, this potion receipt doesn't call for coding. Why is it every potion you teach us 50 points from Gryffindor? Chirp. I wonder what a 40-ounce costs the galleons. Oh. Well, as Ryan has pointed out, and we're going to get this in the book, because like when we do our podcast, we're going to get like, what is the value of a galleon? Because it's wildly different with certain things. I don't think it's something JK thought about a ton. Like George has thought about like what the value of a golden dragon is or a stag, you know, like a lot. I don't think JK thought about it, but that's the kind of stuff we're going to talk about. The other kind of I didn't want to get into it on FNT because I was starting to feel like shit, but I didn't want to like get into a big discussion with just Ryan and not anybody else. But I was leading up to talking about, I really, really don't like how Snape died in, sorry, spoilers, in Deathly Hallows. I understand why they did it that way. When I first read it, I didn't like it. When I've reread it, I didn't like it. I don't like it. There's things I don't like in the book. I love the books overall, but I really, really disliked how Snape went out. It's going to be, and to echo what I said on FNT, I was really surprised that Harry, that was the one thing, like at the end of the book, I'm like, really? Not, I didn't hate it. I was just surprised that he named his son after the middle name after Severus, after Snape. It's going to be weird as fuck watching Harry Potter sneaking around, following the only black teacher in school, accusing him of being evil. Yes, it is. Need a longer cut of Black Snape, Polyjuice, grape flavor in dark arts, what I majored in. Sorting hat, said Slytherin. Only house, let a brother in. Jeremy David, that's pretty good. I'm sure Perry has seen the request to do a longer version of that song because we've gotten them. It's up to Perry. It's up to Perry. If I were Perry, because this song is hitting pretty good, I'd wait till the series comes out. I'd wait till the series, because that video performed so weird on YouTube. It kind of was nothing at first. It was like an 8 or 9 out of 10, and then it just popped. Absolutely popped. So hail Perry. It is available on Nerdrotic Live. You can watch it in 4K. I've seen some people reacting to it, and I think the best compliment, Perry, if you're out there, is it's AI slop, but this is the good kind. Ryan is a clown. Ryan is a lot of things. I don't see Ryan as a clown. He's funny, though. Ryan's like a funny dude. I got to talk to Ryan. I'm going to put him on Front Street. I have some ideas for his channel. Rum-soaked gamer for $10. Black Snape, black coat, cloak, black skin, walk in the hall. They whisper in, cauldron bubble. I'm different, dark eyes, don't flinch. Just glimmering. Hail Perry Chan. Hail Perry Chan. That freaking Canadian. Gary, quit ratioing Jack and start the show. I mean, it was such a dumb argument. And to I think a lot of people, not that he's listening to me, and he's got millions of followers on Twitter. I don't. But that will not stop me from offering unsolicited advice. If he had just taken the L, people would have more respect for him. It's just one bet. Ryan brought it up on FNT, and he's not wrong. There's some stuff I totally agree with the guy on, completely. There's some stuff that I don't. Diametrically opposite, right? But he does this stuff, and then he puts up a TPUSA speech about how we gotta get along. We gotta stop the division. It's like, really, bro? Yeah, I don't want any part of any political sphere, based on just anecdotal stuff that I know behind the scenes. It is no different than Hollywood, at all. Authenticity is pretty important. And we need it now more than ever. And I find it the easiest way to go. is just be honest and fallible and human. Oh my God. Could you imagine if the way I run things here, if I tried to be like pretend that I had my shit together, it'd be bad. It'd be so bad. Oh, yeah. Most valuable lesson one of the most valuable lessons I learned through my journey of recovery is humility. Humility. Marv for $5. Hollywood won't change and is over. So why don't y'all start production company? America First, character driven. Let's start with Gary's biopic. That takes a lot of money. Even now, it might be cheaper in the future. I mean, thank you for the sentiment. And I think Zachary Levi's starting something. I am very happy just doing a YouTube channel. Very, very happy just doing this. But I'll talk to anybody if they want to talk. Give my unsolicited advice that may be good or may be bad. Don't know. Razorhead as on a live stream. Hell. As a man with skin color as black as Professor Snape was my favorite Harry Potter character, and he did not need to be black to make me like him. And as outside of the weirdos, the vast majority of black people I've seen like, this is stupid. And I'm really happy there's that a lot of people recognize, and they have for a while. Okay. We don't want to paint with a broad brush, but a lot of black people have recognized that this is bullshit and you're pandering, and you do not need the validity of white people. You don't. The In Search of Darkness documentaries are so good. Oh, I haven't seen them. Are they good? Icons of Horror? Are they based on true stories, or are they just fiction? Can't say I've heard of it. Since it's not Star Trek, Starfleet Academy, what is the best single season of Star Trek? Ooh. Oh. Wow. That, you know what? I'm going to save that one for when Az is here. My first answer would probably be season 2 of the original series. I love 3 or 4 from TNG. There you go in the chat. 5 of DS9. Holy shit. That's a fun one. I think I'd like to do that with that's a good fun one. We'll save that for FNT. I'll remind X-Ray Girl, and we'll bring that back up with the crew. I love questions like that. Alex for $9.99 drops it and walks away. Thank you very much, Alex. Black Snape and Slut Supergirl, WB is cooking. Hey, Observer, I was told that David Zaslav is based and he's going to turn everything around. Now, I think Zaslav taking the approach of getting rid of Batgirl was good. I think him focusing on things that work over bullshit is good. In theory, trying to figure out some more Lord of the Rings, some Harry Potter, even taking on James Gunn for DC, in theory, on paper, all sound like great ideas. And I was behind it. I was praying for a good Superman movie. I was rooting like hell for this movie, and I was surprised I didn't like it. I'm like, oh shit. Black Snape is one of the most retarded decisions Warner Brothers has ever made, and that was done on David Zaslav's watch while they were selling it. Oh, and if Warner Brothers doesn't sell, their stock craters. Like if this Paramount thing doesn't go through, their stock craters, or it goes right back to where it was. They fucked up House of the Dragon season 2. That was Casey Bloys. And the strike did. But yeah, they are still America's dumbest entertainment company. I have not seen anything to convince me otherwise. I think far worse, and it doesn't get talked about enough, is Peacemaker season 2. Peacemaker season 2, which a lot of content creators protected for some reason, is no worse than Ironheart. I see them as equally as bad. If Marvel had made Peacemaker season 2, people would be fucking shitting all over it. For some reason, there's some defense of James Gunn. Haven't quite figured it out. Not going to waste too much time on it. I think a lot of people were of the belief that Zaslav was the good guy, Iger's the bad guy. We're gonna root for Warner Brothers. Well, I root for good storytelling. I'm not going to root for a corporation. And I was rooting for Superman to be good. I just wish it was. I wish it was. Peacemaker, dude. Whoa. Was that fucking bad? Hey, Superman's made for kids. Get the family around for a hard rated R superhero show with bisexual orgies. I thought I saw one guy come in. That's hypocritical. You like The Boys. I'm like, well, I like The Boys comic. I don't like The Boys series. And they are not the same. They are not within the same realm. Some people can't abstract. Snacks. 1 out of 2 for $10. From the Diary of Ryan Kinnell. I was walking by a cemetery when I saw a girl crying over a grave. I walked up and said, "Looks like you could use a new man." She immediately stood up, slapped me, and said, "I'm a lesbian," then stormed off. I guess I cried. I guess I'd cry too if I was a lesbian. Sell Agape for $4.99. Y'all should check out Warlord Beard Oil. The owner is a client of mine and military vet, super based. If you want to discount, hit me up. Warlord Beard, I'll check it out. I've got my own. The Hodge twins gonna be the Weasley bros now, maybe. Drinker was at my hotel and helped us surprise them with a trip to Disney World. Thanks for everything. Everything like I told you, don't stop doing what you do. 2-cent fandom. Thank you very much. Hail drinker. Ryan Kinnell is a racist and a sexist. Yeah. This channel is toxic. Yep. Thank you.
Wait, with those two?
No. Okay. Thank you for the coffee. I was getting some coffee. So Roman Walker for 2 parts for $4 said Ryan Kinnell is racist and sexist and this channel is toxic. I should put that in the description. Meetup was epic. Met Jeremy and not as gay as advertised. My second meet. Can't wait for Vegas. All your shirts are on the way soon. Thanks, Gary, for the pic with my wife outside, Hagrid, and my son all night. It was great seeing you. And hail to your wife, by the way. And your son. You're a ninja, Snape, said the observer. We was in Shizyal. Mudbloods lives matter. All hail the spell. Chucking porch muggle, who is Dumbledore's favorite house wizard. Snape dog. Fake split screen Star Wars. Fake split screen Star Wars. And this is for 2, 4, 6, 8. Okay, here we go. This channel is toxic. Yep. Gary is racist and sexist. Sure. You say negative things. Yep. You're a bunch of losers and toxic culture. Guilty as charged. Thanks for the $8. Dirty Weaker for $5 has gifted 1 Nerdrotic subscription on Rumble. Better be given that black Snape in the intro. We did. On Jeremy's Soul in the new Mario movie, they will show Fox's dad either as a flashback or his appearance before he dies, and he will be voiced by Tom Cruise. Really? When did darkness become emo? Don't turn back on Black Snape. He'll cut you and himself, says Ironside. I listen to you all. I listen to Jack and all of them. You all sound like insufferable nerd twats. Yep. My guess regarding Colbert is older hobbits will encounter barrel whites on a nostalgia trip and be saved by girl boss daughter plus Tom Bombadil. Hail the fellowship. You might be right on that one. Rhino Helix. Thank you for the 20. Mod Eric K. They should have made all black Harry Potter like the Wizard of Oz. The Wiz could have been, they could have made him Hakeem Potter. I read that one. Ease on down the road. And that's it. You know, I have never heard that before, that we're toxic and we're the reason fandom is bad and that we're racist. I've never heard that. Wonder if it'll work this time. All right, everybody. I made it 3 hours. That's pretty good, right? With my voice. Oh, we got some member messages. So give me a moment. Sipping some coffee. WG is gifted 5 Nerdrotic Live memberships. Thank you, WG. WG Actual. It's like Galactica Actual. I was watching Galactica, Battlestar Galactica clips. Love that show. Dr. Schlurpo has been a member for 18 months. Thank you very much. Glad you're feeling better, Gary. The crud is the worst. Yeah, it sucks, but feels like I'm on the other side of it now. And a great timing. I was going to take the rest of the month off anyway. And I was sick for most of it. But I am going to watch, finally going to watch One Piece in one sitting, season 2. And as I told Flash, I'm probably going to dive into the anime at this point, like get really into it. So it's between that and Stargate. I did watch some Stargate episodes. I stayed awake for one of them, but we're still in season 1. So I have to rewatch that one. Good afternoon, Kenneth. Good afternoon. Thank you for being a member for 31 months. Continuing my TOS run, got through Arena. It's so much more than just a physical fight. What a great battle of wits and moral dilemma episode. It's what so many people get lost in. Kirk Shatner went out and said that Star Trek was never political. It was essentially morality tales. Plus, if they got overtly political, the network would have never allowed it. There was definitely politics in it as allegory, but they were more tales of morality. That's another thing that people like talked about with Doctor Who. What I hate that they took away with Doctor Who, and Peter Davidson, the 5th Doctor, said this and had to retract the statement, took away a great role model for boys. So the Doctor, the thing the Doctor does is he doesn't fight his way out of a battle. He thinks his way out of a situation. He's clever. He uses his brain. And I think that was a great role model for kids. It's what I loved about him. And like being clever is something the British value almost more than anything. Being clever and being right. Michael Thomas, and that's not a criticism. I'm absolutely fine with that. Michael Thomas is gifted 1 Nerdrotic Live membership. Thank you. Grundlesticks is a new member. Welcome. I Can That's is a new member. Welcome. Gary, watch Saturday Morning Watchmen. Oh, I've seen that. It's great. It's absolutely great. It's a little animation. Deleted Scenes is a new member. Welcome. Ray Swap Othello and Set It in Wakanda. 5-6 is a new member. There you are. What's up, Fanor? Looks like the Galadriel orc plot leak is legit. No! Are you surprised at this point? These are the people who literally shipped Sauron and Galadriel. Gonna do a video on Wednesday about it. Hope you feel better, Gary. I'm gonna feel better. And I think we're actually gonna get it this year, bro. That's what I heard. It's gonna be a busy year. So if you don't know, there's gonna be an orc that travels with Galadriel through season 3. Oh, I love how Fargate balances the power levels of Fargate wormholes and FTL in Legends Part 2. I cry every time Dr. Grammer kept the gate hard past 4 hours. I do too, and the consequences of that. Oof. Thanks for all the fun and entertaining streams. As special ed teacher, when the day is hard, I listen with my earbuds in while I teach. No joke. Oh. Hey, thanks for doing what you do. You're doing God's work, being a special ed teacher. Okay. We appreciate that. Yeah, illegals. The only illegals going through my backyard are fucking squirrels, fucking disparoos. Yeah, so yeah, she's gonna be traveling with an orc, Galadriel. Oh, fucking hell. Fucking hell. All right, who's streaming right now? Not that I can actually raid them, but I could at least drop in the link. Let's see. When does Fuck My Life start? Oh, Versus is going. Ooh, it's YouTube featured. Hang on. All right, go check out Chris. Go raid Versus. Tell him I said hi. Tell him I said hi. So, is Mahler? Am I supposed to call Mahler? Mahler. I didn't voice here. Or if Mahler's live, go see. Either or is fine. So, thanks everyone. Thanks to the Nerdrotics. Thanks to everyone who left a super chat and donation. You help keep the lights on. We appreciate you all. And we will see you next Monday. I'll see you tomorrow on the Real BBC and all that fun stuff. Have a good one.